Hello, everyone. I'm going to get us set up. All right, Nealay's in the house, too.
Hi, everybody.
Let's see if I remember how to do anything. There we go.
It's always
Every
tricky.
time.
There's so many
Every time,
different
like-
buttons to push. Yeah, it gets confusing.
Hi, friends. I'm Sam of Sam's Bead Shop, and who are you?
I am Nealay Patel from SilverSilk and More, one of Sam's beady besties.
This is true. This is true. And Neil and I are counting down the days because I think I'll see you this Sunday, if not earlier, in Tucson.
Yeah,
Arizona.
I know. We need to coordinate like when the Sam's house party is.
Wait, no, I'm seeing you Saturday because Jill already made reservations.
Ah, yes. Okay, good. Yeah, I'm gonna be seeing you multiple times throughout this whole thing. So I can't wait. I feel like I'm gonna make so many memories this coming week.
I'm very excited. It feels like a continuation of Bead Fest, and like you were there in spirit.
I didn't get to go physically though, and I'm changing that this year. I'm gonna try and come to a few different bead shows throughout the year, and just like the time is now or never at this point is how I feel.
Well, it's going to be special, no matter what, and I feel like we're warming up today with some creation time, doing what we do best, and I'm very eager to see how these earrings come together using the pipe chain that we created. Do you want to tell us a little bit about this project for today?
Yes, so Sam and I birthed an idea together with some custom pipe chain, and he has an amazing monthly.
Sorry, hold on. There we go.
There we more buttons, right?
I was like, no, don't zoom in on my face right now. Thank you. Thank you, camera.
So the beads came from your amazing personally curated bead box, Tennessee Treasure. And with each subsequent bead box, we've been doing a custom line of SilverSilk for each of those. So you can check out all of those past combos that we did over on samsbeadshop.com. He's got an entire section dedicated to SilverSilk, which I'm ever so thankful for. I have this little white sticker that's stuck to my thumb, and it's driving me nuts. Okay. And so with each box, we just come up with a set of SilverSilks with the coinciding theme. And this one happens to be a wonderful combination of white silicone tubing that has the antique brass wire that's been knitted over it. So this wire adds a really great intricate level of detail to the actual silicone tubing. And the silicone tubing's actually been around in jewelry making forever. It's in big box stores. You can use it with memory wire and stuff. So this really just takes that product, but elevates it into a whole nother level of creation.
It's so fun to work with. It's like
so fun.
You know, it's my favorite SilverSilk product these days.
I know.
it's like
I think
you can
with
add
the
it into
amount of
any project.
collaboration we've been doing, that's definitely, I could definitely see that trend, but
Yeah.
it's not going away. So don't worry about that. And I think the creation that we do is just going to get better and better.
I can't believe we come up with more combos every month, honestly, at this point.
Yeah, I mean, there's like so many different colors of this silicone tubing to begin with. And then I have a ton of wire colors. And so you add that, and then we haven't even touched on the tinsel idea yet, where you can
This is
do
true.
that glowy, rainbowy, iridescent sheen to this. So I think down the road, there's going to be even more bigger ideas for sure.
I'm confident
But
of it.
yeah, I wanted to kind of do something simple. It looks a little elaborate, this earring. It's a giant hoop, which, I mean, go big or go home, right? But they're lightweight. It's made with craft wire, and it uses very few materials, but just has a really great movement. And I don't know, just something really cool about it. Something, that Western sort of a theme with the rope and it's sort of being tied together is kind of where my head was whenever I created this
I
design.
totally see
So
it.
yeah, it's got that little bit of a country flair to it. So let's get started. I've got this white sticker on my thumb that's really okay. I think I finally got it out. I'm so sorry. There's going to be a little bit of comedy during the show. So you guys, if you are here for it, you're here for it. Starting to my left, I've got a pair of earring wires. This is the materials list, by the way. So this is the materials for one earring. So whatever this is, just double it if you're wanting to make 2 earrings. And then also, if you're wanting to make a pendant, then you would just use, the singles of all of this, minus the earring wires. But in this case, we're just making earrings. You're going to need 1 6mm jump ring for this earring, 1 5mm jump ring as well. There is a notable size difference and the purpose of what we're going to be using it for as well. So just note that. Of course, our SilverSilk pipe chain, the custom pipe chain that we created. For each earring, I'm using about 6.5 to 7 inches. It just depends on the size of how big you want your loop to be. Hi, Joan. She's helping with the SilverSilk on the back end. And yes, you are back in school, my darlings. Back in school.
I love the labeling today, by the way.
Thank you. Yeah, no, I feel like this is more helpful for the audience. It also keeps me focused because sometimes I've got a hard time doing that. All
You know
right.
exactly. You've already thought about what every size is there.
No. There's different benefits to this. So you're going to need some 20 gauge craft wire, and I have about 3.5 to 4 feet to work with. And you really need a bunch to be able to create this big wire knot at the bottom of the earring. So if you cut it a little too short, you can always kind of wire wrap extra around this later on. But I like to just have a bunch to begin with. That way it just makes the construction a lot easier. You're going to need 22 gauge craft wire. And we're going to be using that to make our little extra ring over here that goes in the center of our earring. And you're going to need some baubles, some beads and baubles from Sam's Bead Box. Here, I went ahead and stuck a bunch on some head pins and made some simple loops. As you can see, picked up my assortment, but I did leave one blank. So I thought we could do that together real quick. So I'm going to move these things out of the way. And
so I'm
we're just
trying to
going to
figure out which you've picked out from the box. It looks like for the
yeah.
golden leaves, those are the elm leaves from the box.
Mm-hmm.
And
I
then
love these. So
yeah, that is
glamour.
that was the first bead I used when I was designing for the box. I used up my bag of those. And then those are
I
the
love
3mm fire polish in the
Yes.
Peridot AB. And then we've got our filigree ovals, which I believe it's a small size, 6mm or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And then,
Are
of
these
course,
the filigree? Oh, wait, which one are we talking about here?
Yeah, the small little oval has like a little filigree texture on it.
Oh, yeah. Oh, my gosh, I'm just now seeing
subtle.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's beautiful, though. It just adds that extra bit. It gives that rustic touch to what otherwise would just be a polished bead, but I think that brings it back to the Tennessee theme. So clever.
And then I love that you've used the more thematic bead as well, the North Star coin that we had to figure out. We had to get that bead custom for the box because we couldn't find that shape.
Oh, wow,
and such
really?
a good check shape.
Yes, definitely. It's beautiful, absolutely stunning. Goes with the palette. I mean, I'm always stunned at your palette creation, yours and Rachel's ideas that kind of meld together into this wonderful box that I just happen to get every month. I'm thankful for it, and I know the Silkies would definitely enjoy it as well because there's so much to the box than just, the check glass. There's the gemstones and the tiara cast components and other stuff that you guys put in.
And we have to give credit to Sarah Lovecraft this month because we picked out every
Right?
single bead with her to create
Yes.
this
Definitely some
Tennessee
snaps to
theme.
Sarah. Y'all give
She did a
Sarah some
lot of work.
snaps. It is a lot of work, trust me, for sure. All right, so I'm going to grab my 20 gauge wire and I'm going to, I think the sticker's now on this thumb. I don't even know where this came from. Okay, hopefully I got that out. Anyway, um, I'm going to grab a pair of round nose pliers and I'm going to just make a couple of coils here at the top. I feel like we should have done a hashtag sticker, like thumb sticker, for our show today. That's the key phrase. So I didn't do a simple loop or anything special. I just created a couple coils. And what I'm going to do is slide my pipe chain right on. Again, I am working with about 6.5 to 7 inches. And it depends on the size of your loop that you want to make, the size of the hoop, really. So what I'm going to do is actually go through my knots now, or the coils to start my knot, just like that. This sort of locks everything in place and it gives me the ability to craft this however I please. So I'm just going to kind of press it out to the side there, get this opened up, and I'm going to just start creating my wrapping. There's really no special way to do this other than just to kind of let the wire sort of pick however it wants to coil around this base here. And the idea here is to cover up the seams and the little knot that you just made.
I see that you hid the seam so well that I didn't know where exactly the pipe chain came together. I had a guess that you were hiding it under like the nest of wire.
I love a messy wire wrap loop for that reason. But yeah, also it's just it's a good way if because the pipe chain end caps are relatively new to SilverSilk, and lots of folks don't have those end caps yet for the pipe chain. And if you don't ever wish to pick them up,
I
oh,
think
what's
your
going
phone
on?
might have frozen, but it hopefully will come back.
That's so weird. Give me just a second. I'm so sorry. I might
It's like
have to.
you're stuck in the past now.
I know this usually doesn't happen. That's why I'm like, ooh. But I can come back in. No big deal.
Susie's saying messy wraps are her Achilles heel. That messy
Mm-hmm.
wraps are a tricky, like their own little tricky beast because, like, it's too. I feel like you get the best messy wraps when you start not caring. Like if you kind of just like Rachel Mouse, you say you better close your eyes, like, and then your messy wrap will hopefully then start to kind of form nicely. I don't do a ton of messy wraps. I tend to do like when I do a wrap, I tend to do one layer at a time, and then sometimes maybe I'll actually do a messy wrap. Neil, I feel like you intentionally do messy wraps a lot, and it works so nicely. And like, am I
I
feeling the
try
tempo?
to, but I mean, I feel like there's also some sort of method to the madness. Only because I don't know what is happening here, but like Safari, which is what this is on, just decided to like not work anymore. um,
All good.
yeah,
I can tell
well,
folks for a second what's going on this weekend while you're
that would
refreshing your
be
phone.
good. I need a little break here.
So the main event that we've announced for folks that are actually going to be in Tucson is this Sunday. we're doing a evening event at the whole bead show. So the show's during the day, and then we're taking over the show for the evening time and doing like a whole kind of social, lovely event. And I just saw that Nealay, I saw that you just got a ticket to it.
I did. I'm going to be joining you guys. I'm like, I don't know why, but I just need to do this. And you know what prompted that is Deb Floros and I were talking because we were trying to plot out when would be a good time to meet up. And she was saying that I gave her my entire schedule. I was like, look, here it is on the books, right? And it was like every time slot was kind of already jam-packed. And then I had Sunday and another day free. I'm restarting my camera here, so I'm gonna just keep talking. So I was like, what are you doing? What's happening? What are we gonna do? And so she was like, well, did you hear about this thing that Sam's doing? And I think you kind of told me about it earlier, but I'd either forgotten about it or I'd never followed up because I got distracted with something else. And so she sent me the link. She sent me the link that you had sent out to everybody. And I was like, okay, I'm totally doing this because this is going to be a great excuse to see everybody. And
there's a lot of folks like you and Deb, Brittany of Turquoise Street. I saw that Kirsten and Tracy from TRCast are coming. Like,
oh,
it's gonna be
no
a whole
way.
Party. Yeah, it's gonna be a whole party.
So I'm so excited.
Driving over to Tucson, this might be your sign. We've got everyone coming. It feels like. All right, we're back.
I feel like we had like a little like break for a drink or whatever, and then now we're back to teaching. I am so sorry about that, you guys. But we're just that's technology for you.
Oh, you know we love time with Nealay.
That's right. We needed a good catch up. So, yeah, all I do is just kind of wrap this around. I want to start to do this a little bit tighter and then start to kind of loosen it when I'm toward the end of my wire, just to give it a little bit more dimension and depth. So that's probably where I was thinking where the method to the madness probably is in a little more. But the more wire you have, the more wraps you can get on this. If you feel unsatisfied with the amount of wraps that you have on it, you can always cut more and just keep wrapping away.
Yeah, it really looks like you wrapped a lot on the first earring.
Yeah, I did. I went to town on that
one. You just kept going. It looks great.
I was like, I want more wire. And in fact, I might need to do that on this one at some point to kind of match those up a little better.
You almost shaped it like a bead on that first one.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was wanting to do, especially with this one too, is just to make it look like it's more integrated with the pipe chain and to make it look, as you mentioned, like a bead that just kind of is, you know, suspended there. Okay. So yeah, I think down the road, I'm probably going to have more wire on this just to make it match up a little bit better to this one. So I can always cut some extra and go back to wrapping. But in the case of this class, we're just going to end it here. So I'm going to do a half loop with my round nose pliers. This just kind of curves the wire in so that it doesn't stick out and poke anybody. And you can literally just push it into the messy wraps.
Oop, I'm back now. There we go.
Oh, I was like, was that my phone again? You cannot do that to me, Sam.
I was like, oh, I'm not here anymore.
All right, so there we go. So that's our hoop. Like essentially, like this is a great component to really use for just about anything.
You could totally make use that for a necklace. You could make up like a few different hoops and interlock them, or maybe connect them with some large jump rings. It'd be a really cool geometric piece. Damn, maybe I'm gonna try it. Maybe I'll try that.
I like that idea, especially if you made this smaller. Rings. You could make it a chain.
It would be gorgeous. I don't think it would be that hard either.
No. That's the thing about pipe chain and jewelry making and stuff is like, well, we find these techniques, right? They look complicated, but they're really not. They just require a little bit of technical skills, but otherwise should be easy to put together with a little bit of practice.
Because you could add a connection point directly to the coiling itself. Like I could almost like when I finish the coiling, I could then also make a loop and connect it. Maybe it's like the next, make a loop for to connect the next circle potentially.
Absolutely. Yeah, I could see that working beautifully. Or even if you started it before doing all the messy wraps, that you kind of locked it within the coils that we made major big loops so that it's kind of anchored there, right? And then you kind of just tuck in
Oh, I love that.
the raw ends with the coiling so that you don't really see anything. It's a little bit more concealed. Yeah, so I'm going to create a little wire wrap loop here. So I'm going to spread these apart. I'm going to make sure, and I'm working with the 22 gauge wire, by the way, here for my leaf, because it's got a top drilled hole. And so I want to make sure that I get a nice loop here at the top. So I'm going to go in with my round nose pliers, just loop my wire right around. I did break the neck a little bit, as you can see, to kind of center my loop there. And I'm just going to basically take both of these wires and just wrap them around maybe once or twice around each other, just to give an additional little coil of security. My holes there. Not holes, what am I saying with my wire?
You, Sarah, and I each start our pre wraps, I think, a little differently. And so folks have lots of options for their pre
That's
wraps.
awesome. Options are always a good thing, right? And I feel like there's not a wrong way. It's just a matter of achieving the same look.
And sometimes I change how I do it. Sometimes I'm like, no, I'm doing it like a different way today.
Do you end up with the same like style and everything?
It depends. I really like I really like doing double wire brio wrappings where you make your loop with both wires and then do your wraps with both wires.
Mm-hmm.
It ends up with like a little chunkier look, which can be really nice, especially like if you're doing like a messy wrap project.
Ooh, yeah. I like that idea. It's a good way to. I feel like that's also kind of more forgiving because you're not having to pay too close of attention to getting the loop just perfect.
Yeah.
Cool. So I'm going to string on my beads here, only because I feel like that'll hopefully make things a little easier.
Yeah. How did you coil it?
Oh,
You
it's
don't
so
coil
easy.
it first?
I could coil it first, but what I realized was I made a wrapped loop all the way, so like I don't have a way to open up this loop anymore. So you could always attach these little baubles at the end of the wrap. That's just as easy to do. But in this case, you just kind of coil it twice. And I'm just going to pre-string all of this as well. And you can kind of configure the size of this loop as well to be the size that you would like it to be. So in this case, I used about maybe 3/4 of an inch. And you can even wrap it around your finger a few times and then take it out. But again, because I made that wire wrap loop from the get-go, I wouldn't have a way to attach that. So I went and just kind of pre-strung everything together. And once you coiled it around a couple times, making sure that the beads are in their right spot, you can definitely start to just coil this around and around. And it kind of looks like rope to me that's sort of hanging on something that's
Yeah, it's cool.
stored away.
With the other one, when you did the first earring, do you find it easier to make your coiling first and then you add it on your beads one at a time?
I would say yes. I would say yes. Now, that is
Could you?
also one of those things that like I didn't really I knew I had the component ahead of time. I didn't have my beads ready. But I would say like in the grand scheme of things, this isn't too bad either, only because
Oh, I'm in awe
um
that you pulled this off with beads, so many beads on it. I,
I probably would recommend for the person that's making this for the first time to probably wait on the beads um, and have them kind of set aside and ready to attach. You can always do that.
Wanda says it looks like a vine wreath.
Ooh, I sense
I
another
know.
theme.
I do think you have something going here, Nealay.
I think I do too.
Making your own connectors out of wire, just like simple. Because I love any sort of like circle charm connector.
And they're so easy to make. I
And
mean,
I've never really thought to just make one, other than maybe like occasionally hammering like a thick gauge wire. But this is its own little creation with the thinner gauge wire.
it kind of gives a whole different look, especially because you have these two extra pieces of details on the side too with the coiling of the wire. Makes it more fun and a little bit more, I don't know, organic in a way.
Yeah, it's very like Grecian feeling to me with the how it's
Ooh,
wrapped.
yeah, it could go a lot of different directions. That's for sure. All right, so now I'm just going to open up my jump ring that I attached earlier, hook on my little components.
Can we appreciate also the little cluster beads on that component? It's its own earring. Like if you folks want to try it,
Yes, that's true.
Neelay's made a perfect earring. Like
You
I'm
can
gonna make
certainly,
that.
yeah, you could certainly take that into its own technique and style and just use the beads with it. That would be equally beautiful, of course. So then I just attached my smaller jump ring. So now you could see why I have the two different sizes. You can use two 6mm jump rings. You just have to make sure that it fits around the pipe chain comfortably. But you could see, despite technological issues here, how quickly it still was able to be put together. There we go.
And
Now I
so
just attached
I
my
saw you chose mixed metal for this.
It wasn't really intentional, but I don't hate this antique copper with it. I ran out of 22 gauge antique brass wire, so I was hoping nobody would notice, but leave it to Sam to always pick that up.
Because well, all you would have had to say is, yeah, we're doing a mixed metal.
But see, now I got to go back and make this other one match later on too. So, but between the two, like thickening this up a little bit and then switching that out. Or just getting more antique brass or the vintage bronze. I forget what it's called. I think it's vintage bronze wire to match. But anyway, maybe you have two different looks there.
That's pretty. Oh, I love these. I can already see like all the necklaces and more earrings to go with these.
Definitely. Yeah, I think
It's
it's just a really simple idea. But again, it's the wires doing the heavy lifting, I think, for the design work here.
And so for the base wire under the pipe chain, I think you said it was 22?
20 gauge.
20. Okay, so you're using kind of basically one of the thickest you can get through that pipe chain then.
Yeah, I think, 18 gauge fits through comfortably as well, and then it starts to get really hairy after that.
Yeah.
But the 20 gauge I've learned and use that for most of my jewelry designs is that it's thick enough to hold its shape and have sturdiness and the strength that I need, but it's also just fine enough for stuff like this where I can get the messy wrap loops, still have some intricate details, and comfortably with my hands craft with it. Because the thicker you get, the harder it is to work with, just with trying to make stuff with your hands. And some folks have a little bit of a harder time, just depending on what their hands can do. And the 20 gauge definitely seems to be the happy medium.
Yeah. I've been experimenting with like different sizes of memory wire with the pipe chain.
Mm-hmm.
because it's also it's also a good option for adding. I mean, I learned it from you, adding structural integrity to the pipe chain, and it comes in so many sizes, which is nice depending on like what type of piece you're making with the SilverSilk. Because with the necklace we were talking about, I'm trying to remember what I put. Okay, this one's bending, so like that's because I put a craft wire in there, but it was not crazy. It was like a 22 gauge. If I'd put even just like a piece of like necklace memory wire, it might have even held its shape like a bit more rigidly, which can be nice for like this style of piece.
Absolutely. And I didn't actually think of that whenever. Yes. I love that necklace, first of all.
Thank you. Oh, thank you.
Can we just talk about that necklace for a split second?
I wonder if I get my I think folks have seen it. I don't know how quickly I can connect my overview camera.
But yeah, it took me. I haven't worked with memory wire a whole lot. I know I have a few workshop projects that I taught in the past, but I didn't realize that memory wire came in different gauges as well. And so I would always talk about my craft wire cutters and like not using them for cutting memory wire. But really it just has to be a thinner gauge and something that's a little bit more lightweight. So I need to do a little bit more study into that, and then to see like what the different gauge differences are, and like also for a necklace versus a bracelet, because to your point, that centerpiece, if you didn't use craft wire, the memory wire just would be a perfect substitute for it.
Yeah, the main variance you'll find is in the size of the coils. I haven't seen a crazy amount of difference of the wire gauge itself, because it's already so strong. They don't really need to make it stronger.
Right.
So like that's why like Bead, and we sell it like it's a multi-pack of memory wire where you get like a ring size all the way up to a necklace size.
Yeah.
So that you can control how much curvature you want. Like in this case, it really would make a difference. Like to what memory wire you put in like a necklace versus a bracelet pipe chain piece.
That is, leave it up to Beadlon to have a multi-pack, right?
Very helpful. I love my multi-pack. You have every size you need.
That is very helpful.
This is a lovely little project. I was seeing if maybe this camera will work. Yeah, okay. Oh,
ooh.
Too far away.
Close up and personal.
Hold please. I can fix it. I didn't get it set up beforehand.
Actually, it's nice to see the wire wrapping up close, because I've done that on a couple projects, but yours is done so beautifully.
Gotta give me. Let me just change which lens I'm using.
That.
All right. Turn camera. There we go. We did it.
I love it.
Yeah. So this is one I did with Sarah last Tuesday. She made 2 pairs of earrings with the box, and then I wanted to play with the pipe chain because we did design it together. And you can see everything on my desk today. This is what happens when I'm not set up for class, but there we go.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Some of those were extras, right? Not from your bead box, but from your extras.
Everything here was bead box items. This actually was a little August throw-in. A couple items from the box, and then the 3 in the middle were like adjacent items that we got in to go with. So like we had Aquaterra in the box, so I got in some Aquaterra donuts to go with them. These sold out very quickly, so hopefully we'll have more next month, and then some more of those, our favorite shapes from the box as well. And thanks to the magic of your pipe chain, it was a really nice medium to be able to wrap onto. And I learned this technique from you, I think, in your New Year's Eve workshop in 2021, a while back.
Oh,
and so you just because you wrapped right onto the pipe chain, and it's such a fun. It's a really nice way to be able to space out your beads. And so you start from the edges, go into the middle, and then you fill in these ones, and then you have a necklace. Nice and easy.
I love that the knits, it seems like it grasps onto the wire so that it doesn't allow it to really shift and move around. It gives kind of a nice grip to it.
The knits, like the wire on top of. Yeah, no, these things they don't go anywhere. Like, I mean, you wrap pretty tightly on as well. yeah, I wasn't worried about it being secure at all.
I love
And
the
also,
mixed metals that you used as well.
I did.
It's
What did I
copper on
do?
top of the antique bronze, right? Or is
Oh,
that
see,
just
you're so right, because this is indeed the antique bronze. It's intentional, Nealay.
It is, just like my design was. I was really trying to just play it off as like, it's matching, it's fine. But someone had to call it out. So. I'm obsessed with the Aquaterra, by the way. I think those like colors kind of just speak to me, and I just did a workshop on sea themed stuff recently, like land and sea,
Yeah,
and
that was
I don't know, that
beautiful.
just spoke to me. I loved it.
Aquaterra is a gorgeous stone. Yeah, it's like such a nice mix of blue with earthy tones. Obviously, probably where it gets its name from. And so, like,
But it's like I would totally just put the donut pendant on a longer piece of the pipe chain, the custom pipe chain, and that would be my jam. Like I would probably love to wear that with this jacket, the shirt, and just be out the door.
yeah, I think I sent. Darn, I think I sent. Sarah will also really liked the Aquaterra. I think I sent her all my reject ones because she said she would take them. So you're gonna have to knock on her door for one of those.
They're not rejects. They will be loved and repurposed.
Well, I'm confident.
By
She'll
amazing
use them.
talent.
Alrighty, thank you for doing today's mini class. It's always nice to get a little fresh inspiration from you, Nealay.
Aw, thanks for having me. I'm sorry about the little technology hiccup from earlier, but feels like we didn't really skip a beat, did we?
It's okay. I think we survived. And if folks are watching a replay, this nice thing there's a skip forward button.
There is, and over on YouTube, actually, I can kind of trim it away too, so it's like it never happened.
It's true, but I'm not going to trim that away. It's
That's okay.
So, folks, it sounds like our friends at Softflex might be live right now. So go hop on over to their stream, and Nealay, I'll see you on Saturday, and we'll do more classes.
There's going to be so much fun ahead of what we're. I don't even have the words right now. That's where I'm at in my evening.
That's okay.
We'll hop on live and do something fun, though. I think we should share some of our memories with our friends out there.
I would love to. So we'll have a chat when we want to do that, and we'll let folks know when we're going to go live together next week, because Nealay and I will both be there for multiple days in yes. Tucson. So lots of fun to be had very soon.
Partying it up.
With that, we'll see you all very soon. Thank you so much, Nealay.
Thank you.